focus.
Look closer.
Look.
Use your eyes.
Why isn't she looking closer?
She needs to look closer.
Do not forget my stories, Senua. Because your darkness comes from hell, and your fate lies there.
Is in Helheim. His soul still lives. She needs to save his
The bridge to Helheim. I forget its name. She forgets too. But she does remember that only the dead may cross it. That part wasn't so easy to forget. The old fool said there was a hidden path up to it. Let's see, shall we?
The Northmen speak of 9 worlds. The world of men they call Midgard. Sky God.
I guess it's the same with heights. You can stand on the edge, pretend it's going to be okay. But you know that death is near, waiting for you to make that little slip. You can't just wish things away.
The world of the dead is ruled by the giantess, Hela, daughter of Loki.
to challenge the gods.
She has to fight 2 gods first.
2 gods?
2 gates.
One of them will kill her, I know.
The Northmen say that in the beginning there was nothing but darkness. Bitter cold to the north, fiery hot to the south. Ymir was a frost giant, a being of darkness, and all his...
Fight me!
Is she lost? Wouldn't be the first time. Last winter, before the tragedy, she journeyed into the wilds of her native land, living off berries, roots, and seeds. It's not uncommon, you see. We call such a person a Gelt. Some, like Truth, become Gelt in search of penance. Others, like Senua, to purge a curse. Those who make it back are forever changed.
The Northmen say that Odin and his brothers killed each. The Northmen say you must sacrifice in order to receive. They tell how...
Exile makes sense when you realize that you were never really home in the first place.
The Northmen say that Odin is always in search of knowledge and wisdom.
The song. Balraven. Balraven's song. It's over here. It's over here.
Is that? It's over there. No, it's here. There's two.
Listen, focus, listen.
It's magic. It's magic. It's magic. This reminds her of somewhere.
The forest.
Where? Which forest?
Forest in the wild.
The wilds.
She must leave.
She went to the wilds a long time ago.
Why did she go to the wild?
She wanted to fight her own darkness. She thought she could beat her own darkness.
Did she beat her darkness?
No. It nearly killed her, but she tried.
Druth. Druth helped her.
If it wasn't for Druth, she'd be dead.
She can't beat her own darkness. She wanted to marry Dillian.
She came to beat her own darkness and marry Dillian.
But it didn't work.
She thought her curse would affect him.
She thought her curse would spread to him. She thought she'd bring the darkness to him too. She nearly died.
She thought the curse made her tainted.
Druth helped her.
Their names are thought and memory. The Northmen tell this story. Before the earth was created, there was a...
Fire. Cert is through there.
He's waiting.
You can't get through.
How will she get through?
She'll need to find another way.
The Northmen say that the defender of Muspel is called Cert, the foremost of the fire giants. His name means the Black One, because he is like something burnt. The Northmen believe that he sits at the border of Muspel in his flame.
She needs to
All the gods, he will be victorious, and then burn the whole world with fire.
She needs to remember the way back.
What happens when she finds it?
Everything will burn.
Concentrate on where you're going.
She needs to remember the path.
Everything will burn, then how will she find the way back?
She won't. She won't be.
The Northmen believe that the world will be destroyed someday. They call it... The Northmen say that at Ragnarok, the sons of Muspel will travel to battle in the ship... The Northmen say that what we see as a rainbow is the bridge that goes from the world of men to the world of the gods. However you come to the gold-covered bridge that leads to Hell, you may find it guarded by a giantess. She will ask your name. She will ask your lineage. She will ask. The Northmen tell of the warrior woman Brynhild, who leapt into fire and rode to Hell to join her slain love Sigurd, and is challenged by the giantess. Hela possesses large dwelling places in Helheim. Tall are her walls. The Northmen tell of a great hero. His name is Sigmund. His father's hall was built around a great tree, and one day Odin comes and thrusts a sword into the tree, a gift to whomever can resist. Death for Sigmund and his brothers seems certain. But the king's wife is Sigmund's sister, and she begs for mercy and implores the king to chain them up instead. He agrees. Not for mercy, though, but because he plans an even more cruel and lingering death. Chained to a tree in the forest that night, a she-wolf comes and devours one of Sigmund's brothers. She returns. As the she-wolf licks the sweet honey from Sigmund's face, he bites the wolf's tongue. The she-wolf pulls away, but Sigmund holds on. The chains break, and he is free. After his escape, Sigmund lives like us, hidden in the forest. His enemy, King Siggeir, believing him dead.
Day after day, watching from afar, she mimicked him, perfecting her own secret dance, wishing those fleeting moments of light would stretch out to last forever.
Sigmund's sister trades shapes with a sorceress, and in disguise, she lies.
By the tree.
Can you see him?
You want to believe it,
Is he
it's
there?
not real.
Is he there?
You're alone in these mountains.
Is that Dillian?
Nothing lives here. You won't
Survive.
You met him by the tree.
She met him by the tree.
Maybe it's a sign, the tree.
As Sigmund and Sinfjotli are being buried alive, Sigmund's sister throws an armful of straw into the grave mound. Hidden in the straw is Sigmund's sword, the gift of Odin. They cut their way out of the grave mound. And here is the end of Sigmund's story. He was a fierce and great warrior who fought many battles.
Shard. Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you.
Find it.
The metal. The runes.
You need that sword.
Go to the shard.
Where is it?
Find it. There it is.
Focus.
There's the shard. Focus.
Focus.
Use your eyes. Look.
Get closer.
A king in the north forced the dwarves to make a sword that would never fail and never rust, and that would slice through iron and stone and bring victory to its bearer. But the angry dwarves cursed it. It would be the death of a man every time it was drawn, and it would be the death of the king. Let me tell you about the sword Tyrving.
I don't recognize this place.
Where are we? Where is she?
It feels wrong. Where are we now? Burial mound. So strange that we go to such lengths to bury death. Something so very ordinary, inevitable. It's as if we conspire to hide death, because we have no answer for it. But when it comes,
Go in. You have to go in.
Take the torch.
It's too dark. Take it. This will help you.
Careful.
You have to be able to see.
Don't go in there. Go in. You have to go in. Take the torch. It's too dark. Take it. This will help you. Careful. You have to be able to see.
You have to be able to see.
Careful. You have to be able to see.
Dillian, I'm here. I'm here for the trials. Like when
I'll
we
find
first
her.
met, remember?
What was that? Did you hear that? Nothing. Was that voices?
Is that his voice or the voice of the dead?
Not Dillian.
Dillian's
Herver disguises herself as a man to join a band of warriors, and soon becomes their leader. When they come to the island where her father is buried, her men do not want to go ashore. They say that evil haunts the island, and that it is a worse place by day than other places are by night. Fearless, she lands alone. There are many grave mounds, and all of them have ghostly flames burning over them. She comes to the grave mound of her father.
I can hear him.
Within the burial mound, Herver calls on her father to wake from death and bring her his sword. She says that it is not seemly for the dead in their grave mounds to bear valuable weapons. Her father answers with words of warning. You go to your doom. Baleful runes surround you. You have gone mad. You have lost your mind. Your thoughts are confused. It is dangerous to wake the dead. Like I said, she reminds me of you.
That voice doesn't sound like Dillian
What's happening? It's not him, it can't be.
What's that sound? The voice is changing.
That's not Dillian.
That doesn't sound...
Herver ignores her father's warnings. I want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Balder. The second son of Odin, he was beautiful, good and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die.
What does it say? Get closer. Focus. Focus. Focus on the mask.
Where are we?
What is this?
It's the same.
Different.
It's another world. It's the bridge.
It's not broken.
It's fixed.
What happened? The bridge is fixed.
Let's cross it.
The Northmen tell this story about the death of Balder. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Balder dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Balder's mother makes everything in the world: fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness.
He loves you. Calling you. Dillian, we're here. Dillian. through the gate. Go through it.
It's dangerous.
Follow it.
What's behind the gate?
Where will it take you?
It's not safe.
Dillian.
There he is.
There he is.
What are you waiting for?
Quick, find a way.
Find him. Where is he?
Where's he gone?
We're in the wrong world.
He's not here.
She's in the wrong world.
He's not in this world.
He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world.
the dark.
The dark world.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillian taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of colour stretching away from the gloom. And Senua explored new paths into the unknown.
Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe? I did not ask the mistletoe, Baldur's mother confesses. I thought it was too young.
He's gone.
Oh dear.
He's gone to the dark world.
Wrong world.
He's in the other world.
The dark world.
Without you.
Your curse has claimed Dillian.
You don't know, but leaves come.
Why didn't she listen to her father? She thought she could defy her father. There he is. Where are you taking
He's
us?
up there.
He's up there.
How do you get up there?
There's a way. There is a way up there.
Find the way.
She can do it. You're nearly there. She find the way.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Baldur. The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Huth says, I cannot see where Baldur. The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Baldur. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Baldur's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Baldur's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit.
Do you remember the way he stroked your hair?
Do you remember the way you felt?
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Baldur return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Why? Asks Hela. We shall see if he is truly missed. If everything in the world will weep for him, he shall go back to the gods. But if even one thing refuses, Baldur stays with me. The gods send messengers everywhere. Weep for Baldur, weep him out of hell. And everything wept. Men, beasts, earth, stone, trees, metal, everything. Except for a giantess they find in a cave. Baldur was never my friend, she says.
He led you astray.
You should have listened to your father when you had the chance.
Why didn't you listen to me?
This love has tortured you, and it tortures me.
She knew best.
She thought she had light within her when she left.
She is pure darkness.
smell in his neck.
The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Baldur's death. They captured him. I saw once a plague strike northern lands of ice. It was so terrible that not the oldest man among us could remember the like. Hundreds died. The sickness took nearly every person younger than 40 and many older, and where dying mothers gave birth, the marks of the plague were on the babes as they came out of the womb.
Where are we? I don't like it. This place feels...
What is this place?
This place feels... It's... creepy. There he is. There he is.
The light.
Go towards it.
He's in the house. He's
Find-
going in.
He's disappearing.
Follow him.
Don't let him disappear. Keep going.
It's a test. Like the old warrior trials. Dillian will help me.
The stench of rot. She can almost taste it. Do you smell it? No. Don't worry. Not everyone can. It was a warm spring day when she went to the river with Dillian and the others. For the water. She could taste the rot. But no one else could. She knew something was wrong. Something sinister. She begged them to leave, but they just laughed at her. But soon enough, as the bodies piled up, no one was laughing. And they knew that she was not like that.
The Northmen speak of a death moon, a light shaped like a half moon that appears inside a house and goes around the walls. I once saw the death moon appear at a farm, and first the shepherd died, then a guest died, and then the farmhands, and then the farmer and 6 of his men drowned at sea. But that is not the end of it, because the dead return to haunt the living. If you see the death moon, then beware, because there will be death in that house.
Before he disappears, Senua.
Senua! Come to me! Where are you?
I'm here! I'm right here!
Are you in there?
There was a Northman called Grettir. I will tell you of a great hero named Sigurd, son of Sigmund, no less. Born after...
keep going. She'll have to go under.
She can't.
She has to.
She can't.
The torch will go out.
Don't listen. The torch will go out.
She can do it.
She can't do it.
The light's gone out. Run! Get through it as quick as you can. The panic is here.
What was that?
Run. Run. You can get to the light. Get to the light. Stop.
Stay there.
Stay in the light. You have to rest here or you'll die. Get to the next light. Just go quickly. Run.
Fire.
There's fire. How will she get it?
Fire.
She has to go to it.
Rain the dwarf's sole desire is to possess this dragon's accursed treasure, and he uses Sigurd to reclaim it. He tells Sigurd the story of Fafnir's gold, and the good-hearted hero promises to slay the dragon if Rain would forge a strong sword for him. Sigurd remembers that his father once possessed a sword given to him by Odin. Odin broke the sword to bring about Sigmund's death, but Sigurd's mother still has the pieces. And so Rain reforges the famous sword. Sigurd uses the sword first to avenge his father, and then he and Rain go in search of Fafnir. The dragon Fafnir is so large and deadly that it would be impossible to kill him face to face.
What if this is another trick?
It could all be a trick.
Her mother was never here.
It could all be for nothing.
Her mother was just an illusion.
It could all be one long game. Her mother died years ago.
What happened to her? The darkness took her.
Although Sigurd kills the dragon, Rain wants to keep Fafnir's gold all for himself. Rain also wants the strength and wisdom of the dragon, so he drinks its blood and asks Sigurd to roast Fafnir's heart for him. Sigurd does so, but when he touches the roasted heart to see if it is done, he burns his finger. Without thinking, he licks his finger and tastes the dragon's blood. In that moment, Sigurd's newfound power lets him hear the birds speak, and they say,
She can't help but think of him. A tender guiding flame in a world so black. The longer it burned, the more she convinced herself that
the Northmen say the world will come to an end. They call this Ragnarok. The death.
We have to see further, to see the hidden wonders in our world and explore new paths into the unknown, to lead so that others may follow, or to warn so that they may avoid. That is our gift and our
There's an illusion. She's found a way. There's a way. She can see it. She must align herself. She can do it.
There's the door.
She aligns herself. It's there.
Northmen say that at Ragnarok the gods will face a ship full of their foes, which Loki has steered to Asgard. It carries the fire giants, the wolf that will eat the sun, and all kinds of dark creatures. Surt will join them with his sword of fire. The cliffs will crash, trolls will walk the land, men will tread the road to hell, and the heavens will split open. The Northmen say that each god will do battle at Ragnarok. Odin will fight the monstrous wolf and be killed, but his son will have